What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? We got Professional Monkey on, baby.
Yo, look at that. Look at
And
that.
I'll tell you what, I mean, you just got hit me on. Like, I was like running in here. Like,
Hey, no
Damn.
joke. That was a surprise to me. You popped up. I was like, what?
I was like rushing from the garage on the phone. And I'm like, you know, not like I'm important or nothing, but damn. The last minute.
How you doing, man? How's everything been? How's your weekend?
Good. The organization shall be named had their big annual event called the 100-Mile Ride this Saturday. So we had every chapter in the world on the same day goes out for what is not far. I know that. People say all the time, like 100 miles. I'm like, that ain't the thing, man. When this started years ago, it was about raising awareness. We said, well, how far can you go where civilians will go with you? And we're like, probably 100 miles about as far as you can go.
Guaranteed. I was just going to say that it's not about the overall club members or members. It's the people that are going to ride with you.
Right. It's people off the street that want to come along and support, and that's fantastic. But we found that past 100 miles, people just stop going. So we always make it 100 miles each way, you know what I mean, and try and make a good day of it. But we went, I think all in, we went 320 miles out to this place in the middle of nowhere in the Everglades and had seafood and just had a good time. We were wore out when we got home because it was, man, summer has arrived in South Florida.
Where do you live?
I'm in West Palm.
Okay, you said
Everglades.
Everglades.
But we were in the actual Everglades yesterday,
Yeah.
and it was, I swear to God, it was 5 billion freaking percent humidity, and it was hot. And the place we were at was an outdoor, on the water seafood bar, and we're just dying. Like it was fun, but Jesus.
And I grew up there in Kendall, Miami, closer.
Yeah,
to
there
the
you go.
Everglades. Yeah.
There he be.
Look at this guy walking through. What is he? What is that?
I guess we got somebody on the outside doing a correspondence journalism stuff, man.
Hopefully you didn't just rob that bank.
Let me tell you something, guys. I am at the worst effing restaurant I've ever been to in my entire life. I've been here since past 6 o'clock. No, before 6 o'clock. Still waiting on food. There's only 3 tables here, man.
Where are you at home or are you out of town?
No, I'm out of town, but yeah, I expected to be home like shortly. Fucking man. What's up, Professional Monkey? Screw my noise. What's going on, everybody?
I'm kind of liking this set here. I gotta take my hat off.
Yeah, you know, everybody
put it back on, bro. Put it back. I can't see anything behind you.
I can see the glare on your head.
Hair is overrated. Like,
so Monkey, man, you're well known within the scene for your Sturgis commentary, your how-tos when you're going to Sturgis. Your RV rocks. I watched that video of the walkthrough. That was kick-ass right there. So, and your work in your garage, man. You know how to build some cholo bikes. You know how to work on motorcycles, which right now is really a dying type of specialty among bikers, man. Everybody just hands that stuff over to Harley Davidson. But where was your entry into motorcyclists?
Well, you're far too friggin' kind, because for you to say that I know how to work on a bike is I know how to take painted plastic stuff and put it over other painted parts, and it just looks real good. You know, like,
yeah, I saw that. I saw that when you put the chrome piece around your radio.
There you go. I can do that. You know, like, so, no, I mean, I can do. I would say, you know what, Revzilla has their like beard level of difficulty. I can do like a 4 out of 5, but as soon as you're cracking engine casings, you're like, you lost me. That and wiring, I don't do other than lights. But it started with, I mean, I grew up in the back of my dad's bike. I was actually telling a story the other day that when I was little, he always had jet bikes because we couldn't afford a Harley. That was in the 70s and 80s when they was real expensive. And he finally was able to buy a used Sporty. And that's what we rode many miles. Went to Sturgis on it a couple times when I was little because he makes bad decisions as a father. And finally, during the late 80s, was on the whole 2-year waiting list thing to get a new one when the 5-speed belt drive came out, you know, because ours was a chain 4-speed. And they called and said, this dude ordered one. You want it black. This one's dark red. But if you want it, come get it. And my dad's freaking out going, man, I can't afford a bike right now. But he listed the black one, the 4-speed, the old one in the paper, and it sold in 90 minutes from the time that ad dropped, because that's how in demand they were. And then where it started was we'd go to Doc's Harley in St. Louis and dig through piles of parts. Remember when the parts were shrink wrapped onto cardboard? And it was like it was like a tan cardboard with orange stuff on, and that's what the accessories look like. And we'd buy whatever we could find for it, and we'd take it home, and he'd go, "You put that shit on." And then I was like 12, you know, whatever, in the garage, taking the Sportster apart and figuring out how to put a chrome battery box cover on it or whatever, and it was fun, man. It was like freaking, you know, loud Harley Legos, you know, and it's just stuck. That, and because we couldn't afford to pay nobody to do nothing for us. We had to do it. You can afford the part, but you can't afford the labor. and even today, even though maybe I could, I just prefer to do everything I can myself, just because it's fun. I enjoy it. There's pride there, you know.
Do you like the Cholo style, man? Because I see you really got.
Hey guys, I'll be back.
All right, man.
Go kill the food.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I actually always like those bikes, man. I go to LA for work sometimes or something, and I would be there over a weekend, and I would just find a bike show or something. I was always envious of the engraving and the paint work, and they were just, and as tall as the bars could go, 20s, 22-inch bars on them, and fishtails, and I always loved that style. And when the opportunity came about that I had taken over my dad's old heritage, I'm like, I'm going to Cholo that bike once and for all. And I was telling my friend, my buddy's the CEO of Van Black, you know, and he was like, really? Because I was thinking about making a Cholo fender. And he was like, if you want to be a guinea pig, we'll work something out. So he sent me that body. His people painted it. And I had already done the pipes and the bars and the wheels and the, you know, the lighting and everything else on it. But he sent me the body, and there it is. So that's I love those bikes. Mine's not all in though, man. You go to those West Coast style shows, and those dudes have
the attention to
700 hours
details,
engraving on them and stuff. Like that's mine's a rider. You know what I mean? I still ride it. I ride it more than my bagger. You know.
Rock on, man. Are you gonna get any engraving done on the engine or no?
No, if you this is not knocking those bikes, but the reality is, if you ride the bike in the chrome, once you penetrate the chrome to engrave it, you've weakened it and it'll pop. And if you actually ride a bike that gets hot, cold, and then gets wet in Florida, freaking wild on, you know, man, you're always wet down here. That the chrome will start popping all over the place. So most of those bikes that go all in, the dudes have a real rider, but that's their show bike, and you really just can't go that far on when you're going to ride.
What was it about the West Coast that you really got attached to? Was it the atmosphere of the bike shows? Because a lot of stuff out in West Coast, man, you put those low riders with the Cholo bikes, and those low riders are a piece of art, man. They really are.
That's really what it was, man. I'd go to a bike show or something. I was out there, and it was, and lowriders are cool, right? There ain't nobody, even if it's not your style or what, not your culture, or you're freaking redneck from South Arkansas, like my family is, whatever. It's still, you still see those things, like you said, in their artwork, the hours and the dedication, and then you start seeing motorcycles done the same way. And long fishtails is really what got me. Long fishtails and a 21-inch spoke on the front is when I was like, man, that's pretty. I like that. When the front fender is 3 millimeters off the tire, and it's just, they look fantastic. And I always wanted to do one, and there you go.
Well, you know what? It's kind of interesting. You know, the long ass fishtails back in the day, man, they used to have the fishtails that went up into the upsweeps. Now that was a style right there, even though you were deaf from, that point on and stuff like that. But it just goes to show you how it gets, it goes into a big circle, some of the styles that are out there.
It always comes back around.
It's circular, man. Like It is. You know, the whole now. I think you'd say the whole touring bike dresser phase. No one. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
No.
Right, like that came out of nowhere because when I was a kid, man, a dresser was for old people. You're like old people rode electric glides or whatever. Like when you were just about to die, you went out and bought an ultra classic, and that's what you rode. And or unless you were actually going, you know, New York, LA, and back and forth, that kind of stuff.
That's true.
And then all of a sudden you start seeing dudes building street glides, big wheel baggers, and all that stuff, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? You know, like
Yeah, I always said that was going to be the bike when I retire.
yeah.
I think the big wheel baggers came from all the new school riders that, you know, let's be honest. I mean, they're not the old school bikers, you know, and they came about and they liked the big rims and all that stuff, and they were kind of half ghetto, and it just started.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, they make more sense, right? Because if you're going to spend all day in the saddle, it's better to do that than on a rigid sporty chopper, right? Like, you know, you can still walk after you've been on your street glide all day. Your road glide,
definitely.
Well, you know, they also.
You know, I wish I could like put a shout out for this restaurant that I'm at, just to tell people that it's the suckiest restaurant I've ever been to in my entire fucking life. Oh my
That's
God!
the name of it. That's a bad name for a restaurant.
You know what? I don't want to say the name of the restaurant just because then people know where I'm at. But oh my God, bro! I waited all day for this food, guys. I just got to vent for a minute. I waited all day for this freaking food. I'm starving, and there's a freaking hair in my food. I took one bite and I said, "I'll be outside. Take this back. Thank you." Wow. And I'm not a big complainer.
Going back to the baggers and stuff like that. They, you know what? They got the bagger racing series right now. That's something I never would have thought would happen. Never.
You know what I think we're going to do next, though? I think it's on the same thing. I think we should all get some Mercury Grand Marquis and hop them up and race them because it's kind of the same thing. Like I get the idea of trying to get the most power out of your bike, but when that first started, I was like, why would you race the biggest, heaviest, like worst handling motorcycle on the planet? But then again, that come full circle, and now I think it's awesome because they don't have control. Like they're hitting those corners, and that thing's heavy, and they're still holding it down pretty good.
You know what they're doing with a lot of the baggers now is they're like, remember back in the day? I mean, well, even to this day for me, we wanted to lower our bike. And now they actually hire their bike. They raise the rear end so that they can hit the corners a lot harder, and it's a little more nimble. And they do different shocks and stuff like that. And they do the T-bars instead of ape hangers and stuff. Performance motors. I mean, they get into it, man.
Yeah, but now a lot of these guys watching that are going off the side of the road thinking they can do the same shit. Literally, I see it all the time. I'll hear in the Twisted Sisters up here in Texas. These big baggers trying to take these turns like they're on a sport bike.
Yeah. That's all the yahoos that we hear about and see, you know, on here that they go to what is a Tail of the Dragon? Everybody wants to go to the Tail of the Dragon and hit the curves like they're on a rice rocket and shit. And it's like, dude, you're on a Harley, man. Just cruise.
Well, that's what it's for,
man. Dudes on Gold Wings hitting the Tail of the Dragon. Those guys are freaking nuts. Have you seen some of them Gold Wings?
Yeah.
Because the bags are high and they sit high anyway, and they actually evidently do handle well. And there's guys pulling the wheel off the ground out of turns on those things.
Yeah. Right. Hey, what got you? You know what? You're really big in the Sturgis. What got you in the Sturgis where you're there every year? What's so special that we're missing? Because I've been down to Daytona Bike Week. Wasn't too impressed, but I'm more of the weekend type of rallies. You know, you go out there, you get in trouble, stuff like that. But what makes Sturgis so special?
It's probably, I mean, it's got to be a little different for me in that I started going when I was 12. That was the first time I went. I was 12 years old. And I mean, let's be honest, it was public sex acts when you're 12 years old. That'll make you want to come back to a place. You see that and you're like, all right, this is all right. So I went there. First time it was late 80s, and we stayed at Glencoe. And we pull in, and I'm a freaking kid, and I'm like, this is how protective my father's a drill instructor in the Marine Corps. As protective as he was of his bike, there was a separate tent for the bike to go in at night to keep the condensation and the dirt off of it, right? Like, so we're setting all this stuff up for the bike to go in, And next to us comes in these like 20-something-year-old dudes on their rigid pans and stuff, and they're setting up their campsite. And Dad's like, I'm gonna go get ice. Don't leave this spot. He goes to get ice. I turn around. All these dudes, girls take everything off, and that was just the way it was for the rest of the week. Now, again, young kid, that's gonna affect you forever, right? Like I need to go back to this place. Then we go to the Buffalo Chip. We're watching the Doobie Brothers, and my dad's buddies are all there, and I'm looking over. You can ride your bike up to the stage at the Buffalo Chip and sit on your bike and watch a concert. So like people all around you, you're sitting there watching Kid Rock or whoever sitting on your bike. And I look over and there's something going on. I can't tell what it is, but there's something going on in the crowd. And I lean over to my dad's buddy Daryl and I go, what's going on over there? And he just goes, oh, that chick's going down on that chick, and just goes back to watching the concert like nothing had just happened. Like that was just, normal stuff. And I was like, well, I'm going to be coming to this every year for the rest of my life. And so that's where it started. But really, all jokes aside, I've been to a lot of rallies, a lot of good weekend Midwest rallies, being from St. Louis, and they're fun, man. It's a good time to make friends and have a good time. But Sturgis to me is the only rally where the riding is as good as the party. So you ride Iron Mountain Road, which I haven't ridden Tail of the Dragon, but a whole lot of my friends, brothers and stuff that have ridden both are like, they are at least equal, but then they all go like, oh, my favorite's this or my favorite's that. So it's that level of technical riding, the Badlands, Needles Highway, herds of buffalo. I mean, just incredible, amazing scenery, the Rushmore. And then at night, you stay at the Chip or you go to the Chip and you see ZZ Top in a big amphitheater, and you make friends that I literally dudes I talk to every day via all these different chats that I met at Sturgis that I see every year and ride with every year because they're pals. And it's something special, like, yes, it's gotten big and it's gotten commercial and it's gotten expensive and it's gotten all that stuff. It's still great.
How has it changed though over the years? How is the activities? What you've seen, because I know 80s and 90s, it was just a let loose party, and then the restrictions started coming in. How has it changed for you, the experience?
Some of the things that bother other people that don't bother me, right? So I have a toy hauler RV. That's how I go. It's not $1 million motor coach, but it's I like it, right? Some people resent the fact that people come in RVs. Why? So they hate that. Oh, I don't know why. They're like,
they don't have one.
Friggin' rich guys have ruined it. And I'm like, no, man, it's not. I don't. You know what it is? My theory is they don't have one. They're jealous, and so they talk shit. It's
exactly right. Because our age, man, we did our sleeping on the ground by the next of the road. I ain't doing it no more.
I think the only ones that always say that are the ones that say what you just said, Professional Monkey, that, oh, they're just jealous because they can't afford it. And I just think that's a lame reply. I see that all the time, man. Now, I've been one of the same people that say, if you don't ride there, I mean, you can't call yourself a biker, dude. I mean, come on. But about 4 years ago, me and a brother of mine who's got like this huge RV, right? And it's got the garage in the back and everything. And he's like, yeah, we'll trailer our bikes down. We'll take the bikes down. I'm like, dude, I'm a biker. I'm riding my bike, man. I'm not getting in no trailer. What are you, a poser? So we get to where we're going. I rode. He drove the RV. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was about 1,500 miles away. And when I got there, I did not want to go for a ride anymore, man. I was done, dude.
Like,
I was so sore. Dude, I was so sore. My bike is tired. I'm tired. I'm like, I'm going to bed. And they're like, well, we're going out riding. And I'm like, okay, all right. I see the point now.
And also, I understand it when people do talk smack about it, right? And they want to make a big deal out of it. My experience is they aren't going as far as I am.
Right.
Like it's 5,000 miles.
Yeah.
Sturgis, right?
Yeah.
And if you have an RV, I do think like if you own an RV and you ride, that's pretty stupid. Like, because hotel rooms are $400 a night. Like a hotel room is $400 a night. So you are choosing to tent it in the dirt You know what I mean? Like it actually
if you can find a room.
Yeah, like so. I got my father going this year, and he's crashing in the back, so I'm providing a place for me and him. You know, like it just makes more sense. That and I get stopped in St. Louis, my hometown, for a couple days. You know, as on the way up there. So yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think that the only time we can say if you don't ride, you're not real is if we were all coming from the same place. None of us had RVs. We all had the same vacation schedule. We all, you know what I mean? Like you can't just make blanket because everyone's got different situations. You know, like but and also
the way I've always looked at it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, a lot of dudes that I like give me shit. You finally get out of them. Either number one, they're not going, or number two, they live in North Dakota. They live 300 miles from the rally. It's like, kiss my ass. You're going back and forth.
And it's like Danny said. I mean, as soon as you get there, you're going to be so tired. By riding. Man. I mean, you want to enjoy I mean, I got same as Hollywood. I obviously being from Florida, I went to Daytona a lot growing up, and I kind of got either burnt out on it or a bad taste in my mouth. After that, I really didn't care about going to rallies. Really,
right.
Because I mean, it was just
traffic.
I've been to
a few of them. You know, I've rode to Daytona before, and yeah, when I got to Daytona, the last thing I mean, not that there's any, not that I know of anyway. There's not a lot of great riding in Florida. You know, not in Daytona area anyway. But you know, when you get there, you don't want to ride, man. You're tired. You know, you're hurting. You've been on the road all day. You know, God forbid your bike broke down 2 or 3 times on the way there. You know, when you get there, man, it's like, I don't want to go for a ride, man. I just want to sit here and chill, you know? So, yeah, I totally get why people, you know, take their trailers now.
So Daytona, like the ride you've got is the loop, right? I mean, the loop is nice.
Yeah.
It's, 45 minutes and you're done. So, okay, so you go and then you're like, all right, well, I'm going to go back the other way. Now you got an hour and a half in the saddle. Now what the hell are you going to do? You go down on Main
that's about
Street.
it.
There are more people than that should be allowed in any one place. It's so friggin' packed. You got those freaking 3-wheel cars, slingshots with Christmas lights all over them and the loud stereo competition, revving their fucking lawnmower motor as loud as they can. You know, it's hell. Main Street is hell in a lot of ways.
It is.
And then you go back to the campground, because the campground, at least you'll find some bikers and some rock music and a good party and, you know, that kind of thing. But
we used to leave our bikes at the campground and then just went with the girls on the Jeeps. That's what we did to the beach, and that's all. We just hung out at the beach. So,
do you recommend? What campgrounds do you recommend in Sturgis? You know,
there are a lot. It's all about whether or not you want to sleep or not. I mean, I
I'm on a podcast.
I stay at the Chip like 99% of the time because I like the parties, I like the riding, but I like concerts also. And I know I'm gonna go to the Chip 3, 4, 5 times. And so you buy the pass, and the pass doesn't matter if you're staying there or just going to see the concert. So why not just stay there, right? So I say the Chip because for that. But Glencoe is 10 minutes away now. The Chip has a lot of rules these days. When you have big concerts and you have, you know, Snoop Dogg performing and stuff, there's a lot of security restrictions. There's a lot of, you know, security is everywhere. They find them big ass South Dakota farm boys with cowboy hats and their buffalo chip cut. And I don't know if there's secret tunnels under the ground, but them motherfuckers going to appear like out of nowhere. Like dudes start to throw down and 12 of them just appear and they just, you know. So you really got to mind your P's and Q's there. You got to keep your clothes on if you're a woman, you know, that kind of stuff.
That's stupid.
Glencoe, I ain't going anymore.
That's not even a biker event. Screw that.
But Glencoe across the street doesn't have the big concerts, but it basically has no rules. Like there's guys that direct traffic. That's it, to make sure nobody hits nobody. But other than that, there's dudes who set up stages and full DJ setups, and they're just there camping, and nobody's got nothing on the whole week. I mean, so we go back and forth. Like you can go and party one night at Glencoe and then go back to Chip, and you know, and then you go to. But yeah, so Glencoe and Chip are the top two. But there's one called Kickstands around the corner that's really good. One called the Lazy Days. There's the Broke. No, not the Brokes. What is it? Pappy Hoyle, which used to be the Iron Horse, I think. That's the Full Throttle place. They've got a campground. There's campgrounds all over the place.
Hey, professional,
the
what's the deal with your slow ass golf cart? Someone's asked me to ask. So I got to bring that up.
That has got to be Buffalo in the side chat.
It is Buffalo.
Yeah, it's Buffalo.
I ain't gonna throw him. Yeah, I threw him under the bus. Yeah.
When we got there last year, I own a golf cart because I'm a Floridian and I'm therefore half dead, even though I'm not old enough. But I pulled mine all the way up there. In my rig, I had my wife's dresser, my dresser, and my cart. And I unloaded them all, and he had rented one. And immediately, being bikers, we're like, well, we got to race. And he raced his rental golf cart versus mine that I own, which even though they're the same model, same brand, same engine, and he had his wife with me and I was alone, I'm evidently so fat that he pulled out in front of me and just pulled away. It was faster than mine. I don't know how. And so my slow ass golf cart. Here's the funny thing: I'm not bringing mine this year. I've rented mine, so I'm just going to put a blower on it and drop a 600 out of an R6 in it. And I'm gonna blow it away.
There you go.
Do you go with your family to Sturgis, or mostly with your friends? Or
It's my wife goes. So we got a little one. I got a 9-year-old little girl, and my wife is going this year. We're doing differently. She's actually going into St. Louis and driving up with me just for fun, and then she'll be there like 3 or 4 days, and then she's got to go home because the little one's got to start school. But yeah, I mean, she's fun, man. So I'd want her there the whole time if possible. But
rock on.
I'm really missing my studio right now. It's so much warmer in my studio, and I have a camera holder.
I wouldn't make fun of golf carts, man. I'm actually looking to get a golf cart. Screw all
they're
that.
expensive right now.
What? They're
pretty expensive right now.
Yeah, they
I
are.
don't know, man. You'd get them off of freaking Facebook Marketplace for like $2,500.
No, not anymore.
One that don't have a motor in it.
Yeah, if you get one for $2,500, it's a junker out of a trailer park somewhere.
I got a good deal of the golf cart if you want one, but it's gonna be about $5,000. But it's only 2 years old, 6-seater.
Man, I'm talking about something that's like 20 years old, man. I don't go for that new stuff.
Dude, the 20-year-old ones are selling for like $6-7 grand. I'm not joking.
You know, if you're gonna do it, I kick myself every day for not finding an old AMF Harley 3-wheel golf cart.
Oh man,
you know what? You can find them pretty cheap, but I want a 4-wheel one. I don't want a 2-wheel.
Well, if you look at
anyway, you may as well make it exciting.
In our zip code monkey, you get those all day long for $1,000. They're all over Marketplace.
Yeah, well, over here in Texas, we go to Port Aransas, and everybody buys a golf cart for Port A. But I have a deal with a guy at a resort there that they're going to get rid of 10 golf carts at the end of the summer, and they're still a couple of years old, but they're getting new ones in. So he said he's going to pull it aside for like $5,000 for me.
That's a good deal.
Yeah,
not bad.
Well, what do you say, Monkey, about those people that go around saying, "Well, you got a golf cart, you're going around there instead of your bike"?
Got a golf cart, RV.
You know what? I say work harder.
You know what I say to the people that go, "Oh, you got a golf cart, oh, you got a trailer." Man, mind your damn business and just do what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Hey, there's the same ones that'll be asking for a ride later on.
But here's the thing: is
when they're all drunk at the front gate, like, "Hey, can you give me a ride to my trailer?" No, bro, I'm phony, dog. I'm a poser.
I'm gonna pose my ass back to
over the bike.
Yeah, I'm gonna pose like this the whole time I'm driving.
No, the only people who talk shit about the golf cart so much are those that haven't been to the Buffalo Chip before, because the Buffalo Chip is ruts, a field, it's a pasture 51 weeks out of the year. So you're riding your bike stone sober, dancing, right? You know, the whole way going to the rig. So 4 wheels is better than 2, and it's huge. Like, it's many acres. So if you are tenting it or whatever, and then you decide you're going to walk to the amphitheater for the big concert that night, you hike all the way there. You're like, oh, I forgot my lighter. Nah, it's a fucking mile back to the rig to get, like it's far, like it's a lot of distance. And if you got a cart, that's why they rent so many of them. You friggin' drive up to the parking lot, you leave it, you walk into the campground, the amphitheater, have a good time, and you drive home. Like, it's I don't know how many square miles it is, but it's a lot of walking, and you're not going to take the bike. I can't tell you how many dudes I've seen because the hills and the ruts and stuff. They come drunk out of a concert. They get 6 foot and they dump that bike and pin themselves under it. And, this last year we had to run up and pick a dude up out of his bike that fell over and,
Right. Well, as a first timer, what would you tell the people the must-dos are?
Well, you got to do the chip at least one night, no matter where you're staying. Pick a big concert and go, just so you can see that. You got to ride Needles Highway. You got to ride Iron Mountain Road. You got to do the Wildlife Loop where you see the buffalo. You got to go to the Badlands. You got to do Rushmore. If you're into big wet t-shirt contests, you got to go to Alzada, Montana and go to Topless Tuesday. And on the way, you see Devil's Tower on the way. Now, you see it one time, you've seen it. It's a big fucking rock sticking up out of the ground. Like, all right, I've seen that. Move on, And then probably go to Glencoe one night and party. And you got to go to Main Street. And you got to do the vendors. And you got to go to Rally X55 where the dealer is, because it's just a city of parts manufacturers.
So how many days do you say is a good amount from start to finish?
You need at least a week. You can fill as long as you want to be there. Like, you'll fill it. There's the Topless Tuesday thing is a day because it's a lot of distance. You're actually going to go from South Dakota through Wyoming and into Montana to go to that bar. And then I think I'm forgetting a state too that you go to.
I just bring my old lady. She'll just take her shirt off.
Yeah, done. But
have you gone to the Jack Pine Gypsies yet? The racing?
I did. We did that a couple years ago. It's hill climbs. I think to me the most fun was watching the kids, because they got freaking 5-year-olds on tiny ass dirt bikes doing hill climbs. Like, they got guts to see a kid try and climb that hill straight up. That's fun, but it's pricey to go to it, and it's a whole day. You got to do it at least once. There's a lot of things you got to do at least once,
You like the hill climbs, not only in Sturgis, but you get into the sport because the sport's making a rebound now.
We used to go when I was a kid when we go to Sturgis, so I've seen it a lot. It's a lot of fun, but it's a whole day. Like, you're gonna stand there and you can only watch dudes try and go up a hill so many times a day when there's so many others. I'd rather be riding Needles.
Yeah.
So
probably need 2 weeks. You need a week for that and a week vacation after that, because I'll be
that and you need 3 days to get there.
Yeah,
you're coming from a lot of places, and you got 3 there and 3 back, and so.
What about flat track racing?
Sorry.
What about flat tracking?
Well, they used to do that. They did it. Started 2 years ago. They started actually doing flat track races in the chip, and that was fun because you can go watch them for a couple hours before the concert. So you go watch the races, and then these friggin' front loaders come in and pull all the bales of hay up, and then you go in, closer in to watch the concert. So that's fun.
Hey, Hollywood, I think they're saying that Glencoe is the place that we belong.
Glencoe? Hell yeah.
That's where the pineapples go.
Yeah, because I can't deal with no cops telling me, hey, I can't watch titties. I can't do that. I just can't deal with that. Yeah. So I got to go somewhere where it's wide open.
Yeah, you do both, man. I either stay in
Glencoe, I don't deal with police, period.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Monkey.
That's another problem too, though, that they bring cops in from like freaking 5 states away,
all over,
and from all over the place, and they don't necessarily know. Some of them are on edge. Some of them hate bikers. Some of them are very cool, actually. You got a lot of them on Main Street that the whole job is to keep anybody from shooting anybody. That's the whole, hey, they're just there to diffuse the situation, and they're just trying to keep people from dying. So I've seen them give mouthy dudes a whole lot of chances to not go to jail. Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen them go hey, man, why don't you just throw that drink away and get in a cab and go home? And the guy's like, well, let me tell you. And you're like, oh, give this a second. It's going to go bad.
Hey, guys, everybody's about to get in this truck, so I got to go, guys. So
talk to you.
I'm sorry for the unprofessionalism here, but I didn't expect to be gone.
You didn't even eat anything. You had zero.
No, I didn't eat anything. I'm literally going to stop at Burger King right now. Yeah, I'm not happy.
All right, buddy, we'll talk.
Professional Monkey, thanks for being on the show, man. Much love to you, dude.
Appreciate it, brother.
Take care, Danny.
Peace, guys.
Bye.
Well, you're talking about safety.
Well,
How has it been as far as wrecks are concerned? Because we know every major rally, you're going to have a lot of wrecks.
Oh, guaranteed.
Daytona, especially. Oh my God, I seen
Oh
some
my God.
wrecks when I was down there.
Well, I see a bunch of wrecks just from the drunk asses trying to show off after.
Well,
During
yeah, but I'm talking about when they're on the big rides, going to Rushmore,
Oh.
stuff like that, Monkey. You would know that.
there's a lot of deaths every year. It varies. Some years are better than others. I know that what was it, 19, I guess, was me and my wife were walking back to grab the bus to go back. That's another thing. There's bus services that are fun. They have dancing girls that serve beer on the bus, like, and that's a way to stay out of jail. You've been riding all day, you leave your bike at the rig, you get on the bus, you take the bus downtown, which is not far, but you know, they're looking for drunk riders, man. Like every bike, they're pulling bikes over for no reason. Just to see if you're drunk. So to bus it in and out of town can save you 10 grand, you know?
Yeah, I think the highest mortality is RVs and bikes. Kidding.
Yeah, you're right. So we're walking back to the friggin' bus stop on Main Street late at night, and there's a cop standing there, and I go, "Hey, just curious, like how fatality's been this year?" And he said, "Not a good year." And I can't remember what the number was, but it was 6 or 7 or something like that. And he goes, "We're seeing a trend of dudes that rode when they were kids and gave up the bike for the kids," right? We've all heard that story. We've all had buds that got rid of the bike when the kids were born.
Right.
Because then they raise the kids and they make a little money. So now they're getting back into riding when they're, 50, whatever. And they go out and they buy an ultra limited because they can afford it. And the last bike they rode was a Honda CB750, in 1979 or something. And it's a 960-pound motorcycle that they're not prepared to ride, and they hit those hills and they can't make a turn. They fly off, hit a tree, and they die. He's like, it's just what happens, And that was the trend, is dudes buying bikes that are way heavier than they're used to, riding those hills. Not even hard. They just don't realize that they're varying, what they call them, varying radius turns on Iron Mountain Road, where the turn actually tightens when you're in the middle of it.
In the middle of the turn,
doesn't stay uniform. It actually tightens on you. So you're laying into it, and all of a sudden that sumbitch gets tighter on you, and you're not ready, and you shoot off and hit a tree, and it's freaking fatal. So it's gotten a little better over the last, say, 3 years, because there's been enough lives lost that story's getting out, but yeah, it's dangerous, and it's not drunks. It's not drunks and goofy assholes like it is in Daytona. It's people that are not qualified for that kind of ride.
I can see that, because I see a lot of guys, even out here, as soon as they get that new bike, instead of just practicing with it, they just go out on a nice ride and try to keep up with other people, or feel like they have to keep up, and they can't. A big, like I said, almost 1,000-pound bike is not a joke in the beginning to try to ride. So.
No, it isn't, man. How did you feel? And I'm sure you went to it that year when because South Dakota, Nome didn't close the state down during the COVID stuff.
Right.
I don't know if you went to that rally where it was right in the middle of that pandemic, but if you did or you didn't, because you've been there a long time, how did you feel about the media and how they attacked bikers and the rally itself for happening?
It was from all sides, man. Like it was locals that didn't want the rally to happen. I hope I'm not saying this wrong, but there was something along the lines of they actually did take a vote in the city of Sturgis, and the residents voted against the rally. And then they still had it because they depend on that revenue. So there were some protests on Main Street in Sturgis, and people were saying, "Oh, it's whatever, insert whatever, Antifa." No, it wasn't, dude. It was people who lived in Sturgis that were there protesting the rally, saying we didn't want this, and go home, and bikers themselves, the community turned on itself in a lot of ways. Because that year, it was 2020 that I was there. I stayed at Glencoe that year, and I came home with COVID. I got friggin' COVID, man. Like, how many friggin' million people got COVID? We all, know somebody. Anyway, I came home and I had it. And I remember I got on the Glencoe Facebook page trying to be nice, going, "Hey, I was in spot Q50. I'm just saying I got sick. If anybody, around me, just, I don't know, I'm just saying, like, that's where I was and I came home with it. So do with what you will." And people lost their minds. Like, he wasn't even there. He's a liar. He's a da, da, da. I'm like, dude, it's just it's an infection and people get it. Like, this is not
you were trying to inform them.
I'm just trying to be, I'm thinking I'm being thoughtful, like,
Yeah.
And the owners of Glencoe were on there going, stop, man. It happens. Some people got it. Well, so you put 500,000 people together in a small town when there's an infection going around. People are going to get it, man. That's just life. Like, I wasn't saying I was a mistake or I regretted it, but so that was a weird year. And that you had the media everywhere saying that we're all irresponsible for being here. But you also had people springing back the other direction and saying it's not real and it's a conspiracy and I'm like, calm down. It's a bad flu, and it's real contagious and not the end of like, damn, calm down,
Mm-hmm.
But
well, that's funny you mentioned that the city, the people actually wanted to cancel it, and you just came back and said, yeah, the revenue stream. Could you give some type of because I know it's astronomical that what they bring in as far as taxes are concerned. Where it lowers everybody else's taxes in that town. So where are they coming off saying, hey, we don't want to have this? Well, your property taxes are only $100 because of this.
Mm-hmm. So you had the residents saying no, but the business owners saying yes because they needed. Right. There's people that own a lot of property there in the city of Sturgis that their entire mortgage for the year is paid from a week's sales.
Oh, Airbnb rentals. They do even the golf cart rentals like you do. That's huge.
Look at Woody Rod Woodruff, who owns the Buffalo Chip. If Sturgis didn't happen one year, like, I have no idea what the guy's finances are, but I'm sure he makes millions of dollars in that 1 week. And that probably pays his taxes and employs people from all over the country. And there's a lot riding on that rally. So people would be foreclosed on. You'd have people
a lot
that
of
lose their
people
homes.
Don't understand that too. And you just mentioned it. A lot of people come around the country to work that one, especially girls for the bar and stuff.
Do you remember the Cycle Source virtual rally that year?
No.
Yeah. So Chris and Heather owned Cycle Source. They put on, I can't remember what month it was, but they put on a virtual motorcycle rally. It was right in the midst of all the lockdowns where we hadn't done nothing for months and we're all losing our damn minds. And they did it like this, but they kept cutting to different people. And it was like they had the rally bartenders. So the girls that normally do the tricks on the bars were doing them in their backyard or something. And there were ways that you could tip and send money. And the money was going to be divided equally amongst all the girls that did their normal bars. It was a lot of fun. And I remember me and the wife sat on the couch that night and drank a lot. But it was like trying to it was a virtual motorcycle rally. They had live, the Jasmine Kane performed from her house, and it was fun.
Everybody in the garage just sitting on their bikes.
They had a bike show that was they went to all these dudes' garages and they showed their bikes virtually and they voted on it was really cool.
They tried.
Yeah.
Rock on, man. Those girls are making a lot of money out there, that I know.
Oh, damn right they are.
Yeah, if I did that, I don't think I'd make much.
Girls travel from so many states, just like the cops do, to go work that event. The off-duty cops get paid good money to go down there. They get paid.
Well, they take their vacation from their normal department.
Yeah, they get paid time off, and they go.
Yeah.
Well, what happens after the rally? When everybody goes home and stuff like that, does it turn into a one-horse town?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a tiny town that it has a decent tourism business anyway because 52 weeks out of the year the Badlands are there, Mount Rushmore is there in Keystone.
That's a sightseeing area.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool stuff to do with your kids, the rest of the year, except you got to be careful because I remember it was a couple years ago, they had a snowstorm in July. It's cold up there, so it's a very short tourism season, but it's a cool place. But yeah, Sturgis is what, I don't know, 5,000 people or something like that.
Yeah,
like
but then
it's
it
a
turns
tiny
into
town.
500,000 minimum.
Yeah,
Right.
At the least.
Well,
Where are you?
about you, man? Let's get you in the hot seat there. What got you going with your channel, man? You're just blowing up everywhere.
Me or Wild On?
Shit, I ain't
No,
blowing
man.
anywhere. What are you talking about?
We're talking about you.
Who the hell do you think he's talking to?
So it started with those Sturgis videos and what the hell year was it? Late 20 or whatever. And I just did a couple videos screwing around just for my own entertainment because you're stuck at home, right? Like I work from home most of the time, and I used to travel for work a lot all over the fucking world, and that stopped. So I was just bored. And I was watching a lot of channels and yours and Baggers and Brews and Fort 9. And, I'm watching motorcycle stuff best I can. And my wife was like, you should do some videos on Sturgis because it's intimidating to go for the first time. It's expensive and just do it for fun. And so I did it for fun. Didn't care if anyone watched. And all of a sudden, February of 2020, I log on and I've got 1,000 subscribers and it's monetized, or I can monetize it. I can click, monetize, whatever. And so I just started every day. I was doing something stupid in the garage. I would do a video on it, and it just grew by itself. Like I just started blowing up, and when I don't know, not blowing up because the biker community in YouTube is small, right? Like none of us are doing makeup, makeup tutorials.
Speak for yourself. No,
you're going to start right next week. I'm doing it. Like, and car stuff is huge on YouTube and history and all that stuff. But bikers, we don't computer much. So there's just a lot, fewer bikers on here, but it's a blast, man. It's fun. And they ain't never gonna, I don't think it's ever gonna replace my real job, but I don't care. It's a good time, and we made a ton of friends that I've never been in the same room with.
That's one good thing about this type of business, if you're in it, is you do get to meet everybody from all over the world.
I was going to say one thing is that professional, you're a really great storyteller. Like just by when you talk in a video, it's just I watched a bunch of videos there, and I was like, man, I just sit there entertained by your stories, like a great storyteller, which is fantastic in the videos. And I think that's why a lot of people they kind of see you as a great storyteller, but like they're part of your stories, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's fun. Like I jokingly say, like, I actually don't like people very much. Like I'm kind of keep to myself, professionally. I try my best, but I like bikers and I like motorcycles and I like talking about bikes and I like talking about bike rallies and so that I'll talk about all day long, but when I'm in work stuff, I do what I got to do. And then I try to get out. Like, I don't want to be around, I go to the bar, go whatever. But if it comes to bikes, I'll talk all night about it. You want to, but.
What does it drive you nuts that bikers look at life one way and then you got the outsiders that, for one, don't like us because we are living the way we want to live, but they carry an attitude towards you.
There's a best way to, thanks, baby. See, the devil
Miss Monkey in the house.
Mrs. Monkey brings shots. She's fantastic. Is that Yukon Jack?
Well, maybe.
That's 100 proof Southern whiskey. Love you.
Cheers.
Guys.
These shot glasses are from El Buffalo.
Where's she going? She can sit down.
No, I'm enjoying you guys from afar.
She's out there watching. She's chatting in the side. Oh Lord, that is the 100 proof stuff. It's frustrating, man, and I tell you why. I only do so much organizational. Like I always say, you guys know, and I've mentioned both your channels and Danny D. Like, if you're looking for club stuff, there are channels for that. That's what they focus on, right? Like, that's them. Go watch them. I only do videos about that when something has happened that has triggered a specific story to tell or thing to comment on. Like the dude, the friend of mine who was a prospect who left because it wasn't a fit, and he decided this other club we're really tight with that they were a fit. We knew them. And funny thing is, I knew it. I'm like, yeah, you're more of a fit there, man. Like, And so I called their P and said, he's got my endorsement. He's a good dude. Like, that's one of the videos I felt strongly about, because I thought it was important to say, like, that is okay to do. Like, you know, if it's not a fit here and he's leaving on good terms, why wouldn't you say to someone else, like, this, I do think he's a better fit for your family. But invariably, I guarantee you both seen this same comment a million times. This is exactly why I don't understand bikers and and they got to share their goddamn opinion about how I just want to ride my motorcycle. And I'm like, so just do that and shut up. Like, why do you got to comment? This wasn't for you. You know, like, and I don't
love the haters that we get, man. Now, me, I get all the haters. Everyone, you know what? I do love you haters. Keep doing it because you make me famous. But anyway, I love my haters, but there are so many of them. They're vicious. And that's why, you know, sometimes I get jealous of like your platform or the moto vloggers, because everybody's cool with you guys. Me, I'm hated. You know,
I kind of hate you too, Hollywood, you know.
There you go. But that's why when I talk to newer creators, I always tell them, stay away from the club stuff as much as you can, because you're going to get in a situation where not only are you going to be questioned on the internet, but you're going to run into people on the streets that you better know what you're doing. If you're going to get involved in this, you better know your P's and Q's.
Yeah. I get emails a lot because I know that, you know, a lot of people that are at the top of the diamond wearing, we all know, they're more than likely often not in the side chat, right? They're not there. They might watch, but I get emails. I don't get comments or side chat stuff, but I get emails where they go, hey man, I've never gotten a bad one. I've never gotten a single person say, I take issue what you said, and they sign, you know, such and such 1%er. That's never happened. It's always been, hey, thanks for riding that line of being informative, but not trying to say too much. Because that's not who I am. I know who I am. What's the top rule in that life? Be who you are. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't be something you're not. And I ain't never gonna do that. Like, so I joined my organization 18 years ago in Missouri. There's been many a time where I've seen someone get heavy-handed and talked to, and I ain't doing that. I'm not.
Right.
I got
Thanks,
nothing to
for
prove.
joining. Satan Child, I appreciate that. Tried Biker News, Professional Monkey, for a week. See how you like it.
So mine is just YouTube hates me. I don't have YouTube hates me. I bounce around from different topics. I'm starting to do aviation stuff now. So the algorithm really hates me.
You got to make a new channel, man. You got to make a separate channel that's on that. Like that's the secret. So I don't understand this stuff, but I got people that are nice and friendly, and they'll give advice, and they always say they tell me, like, I should never show my RV again. I should do a separate channel about anything about the rig. And I'm like, yeah, but I only talk about the rig when it's about a biker rally. So I ain't doing an RV channel. There's channels for that.
Yeah.
I only talk about it was like, this is how I loaded these bitches in here, and they're 3 inches apart, and I hope they don't do this shit down the highway. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
You're probably not going to be in an RV show going
around. Because they're all pretty wholesome. You ever notice that? Like, RV channels are like, and then people,
don't you love when we're the ones doing it, but they all try to give you advice about what you should be doing?
Oh, let someone explain back pressure to you on a video about exhaust. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's called back pressure. No, it's reversion and an E equals MC squared times 12. And I'm like, you know what? I'm being completely serious when I say that I'm interested in what you have to say, and I think you should make a video about it, because I would watch that. I'm not an engineer. I just put the fucking exhaust on. Like, you know what? What do you want? Like,
put the exhaust on, turn it on, and hit the throttle.
Sounds good, don't it?
Sounds good. Revs up nicely.
Where are you going to be taking your channel in the future, man? Because you're bumping up there, man. Almost 60, going on the way to 100.
I don't plan. This is a hobby and it's fun. Like I would like to do bigger stuff. I mean, here's what I would love to do. I would love to buy bikes and then do whatever I want to do to them, and then just not lose money on it. Like sell it, like I don't want to do the raffle thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I don't want to do the raffle thing because it's complicated, man. If people hate you, there's somebody that hates all three of us, and you do it the wrong way, somebody's going to be like, he illegally, da, da, da. I ain't doing that. I don't want to get into that mess. I'd like to start buying bikes and fixing them up, making them cool, sell them, just get my money back, move on, do something else. I want to get my chopper going because that's a thing I don't know. I don't know nothing about bikes with 35-year-old wiring systems that have been spliced together, and I want to make
fun of us old guys, man. Thanks for that, Nick. Really appreciate it, making the rounds. Thanks for the show. Thanks, Nick.
Nick's a good dude.
But you're more into the newer stuff than the older stuff. I got to get you with Shaggy. He can help you with building the old stuff, man. He's still working on iron heads and shovel heads.
He's still working on the same one for like 20 years. He doesn't even ride it. Shaggy. I see him in the comment section somewhere. Where is that guy? Talking shit about Cubans.
Go ahead, monkey.
I'm into the old stuff. I know what I don't know, and I have no knowledge. Like I'm pretty confident on twin cam or an Evo or the Milwaukee 8, but I don't know shit about chopper wiring. They talk about a 6-wire system, and I'm like, what is that? But I want to know about it, and everything
Shaggy just said, bring it up in August. He'll wire it for you.
Oh, you have made a mistake.
He's right there in Missouri.
I would if I had room in my rig. I'm bringing 2 up because I'm bringing 3 back. There's a local club down this neck of the woods that I'm really tight with all of them. I love them to death, good dudes, and they're all going to Sturgis, and the P is riding up, but his family's coming up, wife and a little one, so he's going to fly back, and I'm bringing his bike back for him. So my rig can hold 3 bikes, so I got to keep one space open. Otherwise I'd do that. Well, Shaggy, come to Florida, man. How about that?
It's real easy, man. Just take the chopper up to there, drop it off, go to Sturgis, pick it back up.
Hey, I was going to ask you something for the guys in the comment section or people that have never been to Sturgis. What's the minimum to a point what you think people are going to be spending if they can save money to do the trip? What's a ballpark for over your years that you think?
I did a video just on the budget, and I think I was like, if you're within 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles, this is before fuel prices went crazy, but I was like, if you're a tenter, if you're okay tenting it, and you can be a cheap bastard like I am able to be, it's still going to be $2 to $25 to $3 I think, because you got fuel there, and I'm assuming an old lady. Right, I'm assuming a passenger.
Another mouth to feed, yeah.
Right, so you got $700 in campground passes, right? You got fuel at $80 a gallon, or where the hell we'll be paying by August. You got even if you're tenting, you're going to be eating out a lot. You can only eat so many bologna sandwiches, right? And food's expensive. Beers are $5, So and you're going to want to buy a t-shirt, right? And then you go there and every freaking brother you got is going to be like, I want a t-shirt, so you're going to be buying 97 t-shirts while you're there. So I think that like $2 to $3 right? So this is my thing. It's my one thing per year. My wife enjoys it as much as I do. So there's no argument there, right? I have this luxurious situation where my wife doesn't give me any shit about Sturgis. I know that's a fight for some dudes in their house.
Oh yeah.
But my wife's like, no, man, like we're doing this all the way, we're all in. So I did the math. I think I'm going to spend about $8,500 on it this year, but that's a lot of that's fuel. I mean, I burned 500 gallons of diesel going up and back, probably about 510 gallons. So that right there is,
well, you're looking at what, about $6 a gallon by that time?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be painful. Like I don't want to think about it. I'm just gonna I have one credit card with a zero balance that I'm just going to use at the pumps the whole way there back and not think about it, and I'll deal with that when I get home, right?
Right.
But yeah. So it is expensive. It's real expensive. I still think it's worth it.
How do you think the fuel cost this year is going to cause a drastic reduction in the rally numbers?
No, I think that those that go love it so much. What smart people would call it elasticity is pretty wide. Like I think there are people that I think people eat a lot of fuel costs before, because if you do the math, all right. So my fuel difference last year to this year is going to be about $600, $650, something like that. Well, in the great scheme of things, that's not
compared to if you're spending that $8,000.
Like it's not a deal breaker, and it actually isn't going to be 8 because some things sold out before I got booked. So like I normally book a giant campsite because way more than I need, because my friends that I've known forever, they throw their tents on my RV site. So it's like we're the wrong side of the tracks. My campsite during the rally, like my rig is there, but there's like tents all around it and drunk people laying on it, So I get a huge site so that we're not in anyone's business. But those were all sold out. So there was several $100s that I now couldn't spend, for example. So, but
so if you're at 500, man, you're looking at some gas, man.
About 510 gallons. It's going to be the whole way there and back, and pulling my rig. I get 9 miles a gallon pulling the rig, regardless of what's in it. Like basically, the wind is the problem, not the weight. So I have an F2 shitty. My F250 diesel doesn't care how much weights it's pulling. If it's pulling, it's 9. Like that's what it is.
Right. Well, rock on, man. You got anything else, Wild On? We're running up on an hour here.
No, that was my question, because I mean, a lot of people want to go, and then I just kind of worry sometimes. I do think the prices are going to go up, even for the vendors and sell. So people's first experience is going to be a big one to their wallet. So I was trying to make sure they understand to kind of plan appropriately. I mean, you can plan the least you want to, but just be realistic too.
Yeah, Dallas. This is my new kitty, man. We just adopted her. She's a calico and she wants to get famous, I guess.
I think she likes you.
She does. China now don't spend enough time with her. So she's always with me. I am the one who has to get the catnip out and stuff. I almost got yelled at because I wanted to give her some real stuff, and that didn't work out too good for me. Well, everybody, get over to Professional Monkey. I really love the channel. I watch him every time he comes on. He's funny, good storytelling, gives a lot of awesome information out there. Just one of the better YouTube channels as far as motorcycles are concerned, bikers are concerned. He really puts the positive spin on what we all do instead of what the media says we all do. So make sure you guys get over there and check him out. If you're listening on the radio, podcast platforms, and all that good stuff, it's Professional Monkey on YouTube.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Professional?
Yeah, actually, there's a funny, quick story. I remember the day that you did a video called "Let's Talk About Professional Monkey."
No,
and I'm just like, that didn't have to do with my thing. And all of a sudden, one of my viewers that I know outside the channel, he texts me, he goes, "Dude, Hollywood just did a video about you," and he sent me like the thumbnail, and my exact words, I looked at, I go, "Oh no," because there's a period. It's gotten much better. There's a period where like all you get is freaking hate mail and negative comments, and people have watched too much Sons of Anarchy, and all they want to do is go on and tell you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, shut the fuck. Anyway, so you assume everyone hates you. And he sent me that thumbnail, and I was like, oh no, like this is terrible. And I watched the video, I'm like, holy shit, he's being nice. Like I couldn't process that. Like
I remember when we first started talking about you in general, because I was saying this is what real, like it was gonna, for the main viewers or the percentage of independent writers as a whole, that's the style of YouTube channel that is going to be the better way to go. and the way that you're doing things, the natural growth, you're having fun. It's a hobby for you. You enjoy it. You can see you enjoy it. So I remember talking about you about that. And I think you did a shout out with one of my videos too.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. So then I remember Hollywood did that video too. So that was neat.
Well, you know what? I
think
was
we all
really
rise
impressed
together.
by him. I was him and Miss Monkey. I was like, you know what? That's the kind of image that bikers need to have, you know, not what you're seeing in the media. And then when you throw his storytelling in and the different things he's talking about, Sturgis, he's working on bikes, I was like, you know what? That reminds me of the old days when I came up, where that's what we used to do. You know, it wasn't all this, let's just go to a bar deal. No, we were hanging out in the garage talking. And that's why I like his background. You know, that's what draws me is the garage shoots. Because I was like, yeah, man, we used to do that all the time. That's not done anymore, hardly.
So I appreciate that video. I mean, it was cool. It was good to see some positive feedback. That was nice. So I appreciate it.
Rock on. Well, awesome. I appreciate having you on, Monkey. It was killer, man. I really love the information you give out to everybody and all the education you give. That's just awesome stuff.
Appreciate it, man.
Rock on. Hey, everybody, visit Wild on 2, Professional Monkey, all that good stuff. We'll see you later. Rock on.
Take care. Peace.
Thanks, y'all.
Peace anytime now. Yeah, we're still on the air.
How do we end this?
I always stay quiet.
Welcome